These are the Mayans MC secrets and Easter eggs that fans totally missed. First, I gotta talk about that number Agent Jimenez gave Felipe in Season 1. Did you know that it belonged to a Sam Crow member? Kevin was obsessed with bringing the Galindo cartel down. So when he told Felipe he was just coming over to check in, something felt wrong right off the bat. He handed him a pretty sus-looking card with a mysterious quote talking about the past and the future. But what really caught my eye was that phone number. Now, it turned out that the cartel was after Felipe. So Jimenez was clearly looking out for the aging Federale by giving him an emergency number to call. Usually, TV shows come up with random digits for scenes like this. But this was a real-life phone number. For real, if you tried calling it after watching the episode, you'd have been shocked at who was on the other end, because it connected to the Teller Morrow garage. Curious viewers that gave the number a try got to hear a recording of Gemma where she talked about the garage being closed because everyone is dead. That's a fun little Easter egg. And the Myans MC Twitter account made sure hardcore fans knew what to do. Sure, this isn't exactly a huge secret, but it was a great way to tie the show back to its predecessor, Sons of Anarchy. Plenty of other Myans MC Easter eggs try to connect the shows too. In fact, we get an inside reference in the very first scene of the series premiere. Remember when Easy runs over a dead crow? There's a deeper meaning to dive into there. But at its core, the scene is supposed to mark the end of an era. We saw crows popping up on Sons of Anarchy tons of times, especially in the climactic finale when Jax finally gives up the ghost. Even the shorthand for the group's name, Sam Crow, is often spelled out as Sam Crow, so that can't just be a coincidence. The crow being dead really drives the point home, as does Easy trampling over it with his motorcycle. It serves as a metaphorical passing of the torch. I doubt many fans even noticed this little callback, probably because the dog chowing down on the crow grossed them out. But it really added to the rich symbolism that makes these shows so amazing. The goal here is to convince viewers that Sons of Anarchy and Myans MC happen in the same universe. And this wasn't the first time we'd see crows reminding viewers of the connection. In the Season 1 finale, the tables turn, with the crows eating the dog instead. And that's an obvious reference to the opening scene, but it also shows how Sam Crow's not quite dead yet, along with foreshadowing a massive conflict between the rival gangs. Since the crows are the ones doing the eating, it kind of felt like the Myans won't come out on top. More on that later though, because the rivalry gets to a whole other level in the 3rd and 4th seasons. But until then, we got countless other callbacks to the show that started it all. Like Stockton State Prison is a crucial setting in both shows. It might not be a real-world penitentiary, but every other Sons of Anarchy character wound up there at some point. Otto spends 5 seasons rotting away in Stockton Prison, so I have a feeling that he ran into Easy while he was there. The Myans MC protagonist spent a few years inside after all, and even if he sidestepped Otto the whole time, there's one character that he definitely met. The one and only Gemma. Hearing her voice on a phone call is one thing, but seeing her in the flesh brought back a flood of memories for me. She barely got any lines, apart from cussing Easy and Emily out, but that brief glimpse was all we needed to remember Gemma's famous short temper. If Gemma was around, Otto must have been right around the corner, or really any of the dozen or so bikers that got trapped in the notorious prison. Alright, that's enough of Season 1's Easter eggs. What about Season 2? Well, one of the most beloved Sons of Anarchy characters got a nod in Episode 3. That's the one named Kamazatz for the sticklers out there. And before you ask, I'm not talking about Easy passing through the place that Jack's dad died. Everyone knows about that, but there's something most of you missed at the end of the episode. You were probably too busy watching Easy and Angel holding Happy at gunpoint. He's another crossover character from Sons of Anarchy, and watching him face certain death was an intentional distraction. Right before the pulse-pounding cliffhanger, we see him coming home to greet an adorable dog. Did you pay attention to what he said to the critter? Relax, Opie. That's a direct reference to my personal favorite Sam Crow member, Opie Winston. I'm not the only fan that loved him to bits, and watching him die in Season 5 practically tore my heart out. He sacrificed himself to save Jax, man. He died fearlessly, giving 3 huge prisoners a fight as he went out, and in his final moments, he looked at Jax with a smile on his face and accepted his fate. Opie was loyal to the very end, and he deserves to be honored in every way. Happy is clearly trying to keep his friend's memory alive by naming the dog after him. And I'm not ashamed to admit, I cried my eyes out when he said the line. Okay, composure. We still have some callbacks left. Fortunately, not all of them are this heartbreaking. And they don't just all reference Sons of Anarchy either. Like, here's something crazy. That season 4 sequence, where Easy's boys murder the Sons, was inspired by The Godfather. Look, it was only a matter of time before the Myans MC and Sam Crow went head to head. After all, Happy killed Easy's mom. And to make matters worse, the Sam Crow boys killed Coco. Now, Danny Pino, the guy that plays Miguel Galindo, directed the episode. I assumed he'd have packed as much action into the sequence as possible, but instead, if you're a movie buff, you probably felt some deja vu while watching it all go down. And that's because Pino took some cues from The Godfather's spectacular ending. Granted, Michael Corleone's men killed their rivals to the tune of a sober church organ, but the similarities are hard to deny. I mean, one of the sons is getting down with a crow eater right before he dies. And in The Godfather, we see a mafioso killed in a nearly identical situation. Pino wasn't just trying to rip the iconic movie off though. He said how he was inspired by the unconventional scene structure and decided to take the same approach with season 4's 8th episode. Although, I'd say he took it a step further, because he showed the aftermath of the violence as well. That guy that was killed while ordering some food was talking about his kid, and we see a picture of the child on his phone next to his dead body, complete with a bloody fingerprint smeared across the screen. Oh, and that crow eater? She's shown cradling her lover's dead body and weeping, because Danny didn't want to glamorize all the violence. He was trying to humanize these characters. So apart from being a fitting tribute to one of the greatest movies ever, the sequence manages to stay true to the show's themes. Alright, I've got one last Easter egg for y'all. This one is from season 5, but it's not something you'd see in one of the episodes. One of the promo posters for the show's final season foreshadows a grim fate for Easy. It's been a great 5 years, but things are coming down hard on the troubled biker. And in this poster, Easy's face is gripped by a skeleton hand. Symbolism. It's what makes the show great, and this particular symbol tells me that Easy might meet the same fate as Jax. There's plenty of hints in the trailer that suggest this too. Bishop clearly tells everyone that he's gonna get them killed. But in the next scene, Easy seems to be on a power trip, claiming that he'll make the club more powerful than it's ever been. Meanwhile, Miguel and Angel are trying to figure out how to stop their out-of-control leader. And given the all-out war that's erupted between the Mayans and the Suns, I just can't see Easy coming out of this alive.